By now, you're probably thinking that you have all the tools that you need to get the most out of lecture, and you're absolutely right. But now we have to think about how we're going to take our notes, fill in our notes, and then use those notes to get the most out of our lecture and really apply what we've learned. And that's where our second S comes in, and that's scheduling. You need to set aside time every day, or at least several times a week, to really do the work, to take your notes, to prepare and plan for projects and actually do them, to do writing assignments, to practice the problems, all the things that go into being successful in your classes. And that's where scheduling and consistency are really key. Think about it. Do you go to the gym randomly throughout the week? No, you probably have your set gym time. That's when you go to the gym and you meet your gym buddies and you do all your things to get really strong. The same thing with your mind gym. You have to plan the time to really flex those brain muscles and make sure that you're learning all the things you need to be successful in your classes. That's why having a schedule is so helpful. The best way to do this is with a planner or a weekly schedule. And all you'll do is you'll fill in things that you're required to do. Things like going to work, going to your classes, going to the gym. Eating is an important one, your sleeping, your extracurriculars, even things like friend time or just taking time off to really be you and pursue things that you enjoy. Find those intervals in your day, go to your study space and work. Maintaining that consistency makes it part of your schedule and your routine. And that way, you know that those are your times that you've set aside to study, and you'll actually use them and make it part of your routine so that you're using your time really effectively. It's not about spending more time, it's about using your time in a way that makes sense for you and your schedule. Sticking to a schedule and laying out your week in a planner is one of the best ways to get organized so that you're consistent and productive during your study sessions, and it goes a long way to helping prevent procrastination.
My planner helps me by knowing what times I can dedicate to studying, and then also for planning what assignments I need to get done for what days.
I keep a very detailed calendar. It has my practices, assignments, classes, everything in it. I have it on my phone so it gives me notifications, so it keeps me organized. And then I also have little check boxes just to make sure that I have every assignment. I transfer everything from Canvas into there, and it just keeps me organized and on time.
So I tend to be a pretty busy person with a lot of classes and stuff, so but being able to write everything down, it keeps me organized and so I don't forget assignments or important meetings or things that I have to do.
So hopefully these successful students and I have shown you how important it is to keep a planner and a regular study schedule. Okay, so now you're in your study space at the scheduled time. What are you going to do?
Well, how much time do you have? What do you do if you have 30 minutes? This is a perfect window of time to prepare for your class. Here are some ideas you can try. You can use this time to review the textbook or whatever assigned reading you had for class. You could check over your homework or start a new assignment. You could also try to summarize the previous lecture you went to in your own words and use what you read in the textbook to predict what will be discussed in the next lecture. If you're studying right after class, there's other stuff you can do. You can use the 2-column method that we talked about in the last section to update your notes in your own words. You can add flashcards to your stack if you've learned some new terms. You can also redo problems that you saw done in lecture for you without looking at your instructor's work to make sure you can do the problems.
Okay, so now you're ready to start preparing for your exams. We're going to need multiple 1-hour sessions the week leading up to the exam. Ideally 2 weeks, but we'll take what we can get. 1 is great. And we're going to use that time to really start bulking up our studying so that we can do well on that exam. We all know that cramming for an exam the night before is a strategy we've used to study for tests, but it sucks and it doesn't lead to any actual learning, especially if you're in a class where the content builds. So what do? Instead, you want to use chunks of your time to really think about what you're learning and really make sure that you understand the content and can apply it. That's where our fourth S is going to come into play. But for right now, what we want to emphasize is that the time that you're spending in class is actually effective study time. This is time where you're essentially pre-studying. You're learning the material, you're hearing it from your instructor, you're noticing the patterns that they're bringing in and things that they're repeating, and you can also use this time to clarify ideas. So this pre-study time is really effective towards the studying that you're going to do in chunks when you get further in your study process. So the bottom line is, be sure to schedule in several 1-hour chunks the week of an exam so that you can really be prepared to study for your exams. And we'll talk about those strategies when we get to S number 4. Stay tuned.